YouTube land. We are live here in the, hey, check out the new curtain, right? Aaron's been bugging me about fixing this set here for the last, I don't know, month or so. We got to change it. Okay, we changed it there. So hope you enjoy the new background. He thought that the gray was kind of dull, and okay. So there we go. Yeah, he says it was. Okay, so we've got a little we got some housekeeping up front here. Number one, I hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving if you were here in the States and you ate wonderful turkey and all that good stuff. And maybe you even did a dish that we've done before. If you tried out something and showed up with it at Thanksgiving, put something in the chat. I can't see it, but those guys can. I got Aaron here. He's kind of running the chat window and telling me when I'm missing stuff up. And instead of Ryan, I've got Kyle in the question chair.
Well, hello.
Yeah, so there's Kyle. Ryan is apparently vacationing. I shouldn't let these guys away from here, but...
Hey, real quick.
Yeah.
Someone just donated, so go ahead.
Whoa! We have super chat turned on for people who really like what we do and want to help support what we do. We went ahead and made the channel a little bit different, and we were able to turn super chat on. So thank you. Who was it that did that? Anonymous. Well, thank you so much, Anonymous, for the.
Shout out Nicole just gave us a
Oh,
donation.
and Nicole, what? Thank you. Thank you, Nicole. Hello, Nicole. I don't know what to say I don't know what the opposite of that is, so I won't say it. Thank you so much, both Nicole and Anonymous. And Anonymous. However that works out. Let's see, what was it? I forgot where I was at. Oh yeah, a special announcement about the upcoming live stream that we were doing with Jim's Red Pants, with the new album that they're working on, etc., etc. It's kind of bad news. It's kind of good news. I don't know. We have to postpone it. It can't be done on December 9th for health reasons, which is kind of scary. But, if there's a reason to postpone something, that's the reason. So it looks like we're hoping to do the same event in February, kind of coinciding with another event where we're going to be working on. So stay tuned for that. I'm so sorry that we can't do the thing in December, but maybe this will work out even better because everybody's busy in December and it can be hard to get away for that. So we're going to push that event off into the future, and it'll probably be even better. So that they're working on a brand new CD that's all full of specifically 1770s English music that came out of a specific sort of songbook. It really is going to be such great music. You're going to be hearing some of these tunes coming up on the channel, in the videos, and we're so excited about that concert, but we're just going to have to push it off. So we'll give you more news as that solidifies. So that's looking really cool. What else am I missing? Am I missing something else?
Someone said that we should answer questions for donations.
Answer questions for donations. I'm not sure how that would work, but good idea.
They outbid each other.
Yeah, outbid each other. Yeah, there you go. That sounds like fun. Okay, let's see. Okay, and I'll be answering some questions coming up, especially if you're, super chat it. But I'll be answering questions coming up. I got some fun stuff here. So this, like the title of the live stream is, what is it? What was the title of the live stream? Excuse me.
Pemmican.
Pemmican, is it still edible? There you go, right? Pemmican, is it still edible? So, when did we do the pemmican episode, Aaron? He's looking it up. He forgot that. See, I tasked him. I tasked him with something right before the episode started, and he messed it up already.
September 26th.
September of 2014?
2014.
Okay, September 26, 2014. We did an episode a series of episodes on pemmican. And it's one of our most popular, especially series. I mean, I've got more popular episodes, I guess, but when it comes to a series, boy, Pemmican has really been hitting it out of the park. Lots and lots of folks. What is it? Is it Skyrim? Is it a different game that uses Pemmican? Lots of people search about Pemmican and they end up watching the Pemmican episode. So, Pemmican. Well, back in 2014, when it was made up, Kevin made up a whole bunch of Pemmican, experimenting with it, and we put it in the fridge. And the other day, Sonia's down there. It's like, get this stuff cleaned out. What is down here that needs to be defrosted, etc. And so I've got all these really cool things that came out of the refrigerator that many of them are years old. And one of these things from 2014, probably a month before. Oh, I don't know about that. Probably a month before. It's easily from August, probably, of 2014. So I thought I would get out some of this pemmican and I would try it because people are always asking about whether it's, how long it lasts. Is it still edible? Well, if I don't survive this episode, you'll find out. So let's see. What do we got here? Now this container, you can see that it's in 18th century containers here. There you go. It's an 18th century container. This is the dried beef. And this is the pulverized dried beef. Now, just the other day, I was rooting around in the studio, and there was a bag. I hide stuff all over in the studio. It's like full of junk, and don't ask. And I ran into this bag of some of the beef that was before it was shredded. Basically, you like dry it, sort of 18th century dehydration. You hang it over strips on what?
They're all like, this is going to be the last live stream.
Last live stream ever. Anyway, I found this bag of dried beef, and it was green as green inside. So, but this smells good, looks good. It isn't green, so still good. So the dried beef is still good. Really, it is. Good stuff. Now this one, there you go. Did it focus on that?
Yep.
There you go. This one says sour cherry. So this one had sour cherry in it. This one, it doesn't say it's got anything. And you can see that one, that one's been attacked by some green stuff. I don't know if I'm gonna try that one. Let's try the what? I'm getting egged on in the back. Come on, John, you can do it. Let's see here.
If you're nervous, then
I'm not. No, I can do it. I can do it. No, we're gonna try the sour cherry stuff here. I'm gonna chip out a section with the pocket knife. Hopefully not chip out my finger. There we go. Oh, it looks excellent. It looks really good. And again, pemmican, it wasn't really intended to be eaten necessarily. Okay, you could eat it like this. You can just take it right out of the container. What? These guys are just cracking up.
they're all like legitimately scared in the chat.
Nah. This stuff is still okay. It might be a little green on the bottom, but the top looked good, and top looked good, and I'm thinking I'm gonna live through that. Now
It's only been like 10 seconds.
well, hey, let's see now. Let me chip underneath the green and see what we got going on under it. See, now this one definitely had seeds in it. Because this one had some kind of fruit in it. Either that or something else was growing in here and not the fuzzy stuff. Yeah, see, I'm pretty sure that because this had some kind of fruit in it, it went bad quicker.
Here, hold that up.
Okay, so there you go. say that you can see it's kind of, well.
Is that from the actual episode?
Yeah, well, it's the
Like
stuff.
in the thumbnail?
No, not in the thumbnail. There's a little piece. You can see the green kind of growing on top of it. But I think underneath it's going to be okay, right?
Do you want to kind of explain what pemmican is?
Pemmican. If you go back and look at the series, we spent a lot of time. But basically, pemmican made by the Métis people. Yeah, I got it right. Métis people. Basically, they would they would kill like 1 million buffaloes. Okay, let's say a couple hundred buffaloes or 1,000 buffaloes at a time. They had this whole season where they would round up, kill all these buffaloes, and they would take all the meat and dry it. And then they would use the suet part that was in the buffalo, and hopefully the buffalo had a lot of suet to them because you need a lot of suet. But you'd mix this dried beef that you dried over fires, not like heated, you don't want to cook it, but you basically dehydrate it in that sort of a manner, kind of smoked / dehydrated. Anyway, you would take all this meat, you cut it up, you pulverize it until it turns into, well, like this. This is the pulverized part, right? So this is the meat that's been it's falling down. It's been all pulverized into sort of like dust, meat dust. Now, to make it last longer, you need to mix it with the suet. And suet is the fat that grows around the organs. It's organ fat. It's very hard. It's very waxy instead of like muscle fat, which never really kind of solidifies. I mean, it does, but it never gets hard. Well, suet gets hard. You mix these two up, basically 50-50. And you sometimes they would have additives in there. And like this one had some sort of fruit in it. I don't know. That one had sour cherries that I already tried that I haven't dyed yet. And I don't know what this one was. What? They're just like dying over here.
Yes.
I'm trying to chip down to a part that isn't green, okay? And I think we'll get there. We just have to scrape away the bad. So the trick with this, the idea here is that we don't want air to get to this the meat portion of it, and that's what's happening. The suet is sealing the meat away inside, cased inside this this waxy fat. And what's it gonna do? What's it gonna do? Kill me? I don't know.
Is that what scared you?
Well, I'm just not sure whether it's gone deeper in and but we'll see what it's like. Tastes okay once you get underneath the green stuff. So they would put this stuff in bags, giant bags. They would take it, basically it's like the whole animal, right? You take all the meat and you dry it, and you take all the suet out of it, and then you mix the two up together, and then you pour it into a bag made of the animal's hide. Just amazing technology for, I mean, these people are just, I mean, they go out in great big groups and anyway, this stuff was basically distributed through these different trading companies at the time, and used by especially folks for rations and stuff in the northern parts. It doesn't really work that great if you're in a warmer climate, but if you're in a colder climate, this stuff will keep for years and years and years. Except, of course, if you put a lot of berries in it and then it turns green. I think it's the extra sugars and stuff. It's harder for the suet to completely capture and keep that stuff from going bad. Anyway, there you go. So pemmican lasts a long, long time. Got something else to say? Good. Okay. So there's pemmican that was in the refrigerator. What else is in the refrigerator, right? Let's see. Well, I still have a little piece of the cheese from what? What's this? But that's just the surface. You cut that off. These guys, they don't know what it's like, okay? You cut this off and you still got wonderful cheese under here. I love this cheese.
Where's that from?
This is from Genesee Country Village. And, of course, we did a cheese episode. And we got a wheel. I got a wheel when I visited one time doing an episode. Actually talking at their... they had a speaking event. And I was speaking at it. And so they gave me a wheel of cheese. Still perfectly good underneath that tiny little surface green. It's not going to kill you. Really good cheese. And then the cheese making episode, we made that kind of cheese. Excellent stuff. I love that cheese. And it makes that. We did a cheese soup episode. Oh boy, good stuff. Good stuff. Probably the last. Well, I got something we haven't used yet. That's probably been in there way too long. Rendered duck fat. That's got to make some good stuff. Old Y Mill. We did an episode about Old Y Mill. I don't think this is probably any good anymore. We got it at the time we did the episode. And we should have used it, but we didn't. So,
What is it?
this is ground buckwheat flour, organic. Normally, after you grind stuff, it only has a kind of a shelf life from, depending on what kind of grain it is, a month or 2 months, maybe 3 months max. Although the stuff you probably buy in the store that's already ground is older than that. But so, hey, that got too old. Not going to use that. The last thing is still in the fridge. Little ginger beer. Only problem is I don't know if I can open this bottle.
Here, I'll open it.
No, you can't open it.
No.
You got to know just how to do that. Because if you don't relieve the pressure right on this thing, we'll have ginger beer all over the walls.
I'll ask to see if they want us to open up
Do you want me to open up the ginger beer bottle? I'm gonna try it over here. You can't quite see it on. I need to have a hand down on it at the time. So let me try it. Whoa! I think it'll work. Oh, okay. So it's a little busy in there. I'm gonna let this settle. We'll come back to that. It'll probably take me 3 or 4 tries to relieve enough pressure, but whew, it's active. It smells good though. I think that's the one that has a lot more molasses in it. That's why it's nice and darkly colored like that. Okay, so we'll come back to ginger beer. I think that's all. Well, there was lots of stuff in the fridge, but that's the only fun stuff that I could bring up and actually show you. And we'll see if the pemmican kills me by the end of the episode. Anyway, do we have any questions, Kyle?
There was one that I was looking at, and
then it
have
went
lost it.
And then-
Well,
Oh, okay.
go ahead.
No.
Ted Bartley is asking, what would you say to someone interested in period reenactment who lives in a country with only a very short history and no one else reenacting history in the country?
I wonder what country it is. I mean, sometimes I'd feel that way about our country. They're generally, countries have different ethnicities. People are coming in from other countries. And just like folks here in North America, we'll have particular people that like to do German or Polish or different ethnicities, French, because that's where, their ancestry came from. And so they'll be here in North America, but they'll be doing a German kind of a thing or a French kind of thing, or et cetera. And sometimes even people will get excited about a particular ethnicity in a time period, and it doesn't matter whether they're particularly related to it, right? Like Northrop's group that does the Russians. None of those guys are Russian, but they're really excited about learning about that particular set of people and what it was like for them. And so, whatever you're passionate about is what you should do. Now, if there's nobody else to do it with you, if you start doing it, generally, if you're excited about it, other people will become excited about it too, and you'll be able to get people to work with. Play with is the word I wanted to use, but to want to do that same thing with you. So basically, if you start doing it and you're excited about it, other people are going to want to do it too. So pick something that you're passionate about. place and time set of people and start doing it.
A lot of people have been complimenting you on your waistcoat.
Oh, my waistcoat. That was one of the things I forgot to talk about. Yeah, I was just the other day, I was thinking about the really cool India prints that we get block printed that are really similar to 18th century block prints that you'll find. Most of those block printing things started out in India, and then some of them continued to be imported from India and also started to be picked up and printed in some of the European countries. So like, the French were doing block printing, the British were doing block printing, but all the really fancy stuff was coming in from India. So we get these block printed fabrics so that we can do like ladies' dresses and things like that. And I thought, boy, one of those, maybe one that didn't have so many colors, would make a really interesting waistcoat. So I had this one made up sort of as a prototype. Is this possible? It even has I even had the back done in natural linen, and wow, I'm enjoying this waistcoat. And thank you for bringing it up.
Tara Sadowski wants to know, what were some 12 days of Christmas traditions in the 18th century?
12 days of Christmas traditions. Wow. Christmas is a really interesting topic, and I think I've talked about it a little bit before. Now, we've done a 12th night cake episode, and that would be the episode that we've talked the most about Christmas sort of traditions in the colonies. The really interesting thing, if you read both Peter Kalm's account and, say, Nicholas Cresswell's account, when it gets to the Christmas time, they start talking about Christmas and what's happening and not happening. Peter Kalm was from, I think, was he Sweden? And Nicholas Cresswell was from England, and they both talked about what was going on in the colonies Christmas-wise because it was different from what their traditions were. So, I'm not an expert on sort of English 18th century Christmas traditions, but of course they did the 12th night thing and 12 days of Christmas stuff. And I think the same thing's happening with Peter Kalm in Sweden. But not much of that stuff is happening in North America. So much of the kind of Puritan roots and the different religious kind of divisions that were happening in North America, there was a lot of people that didn't do anything for Christmas at all. And I'm talking specifically about Christmas Day. I mean, so many of them, there was no strong tradition. Sometimes they would take the day off. They wouldn't do business, but there really wasn't a whole lot of celebration. There were other sects, I think it was Quakers. They did absolutely nothing for Christmas, even sort of going about standard daily business, transacting business on that day, and maybe they were the only ones that were transacting business on that day. Nicholas Cresswell talks about how it really wasn't a thing, at least in the community that he's working within, but it really depends on the ethnicity of the people and whatever region they're in. So if there is a region that has a strong, say, German immigrant population, then Christmas is happening, and that's really kind of what's that pouring over and turning into the entire sort of population. Really is a 19th century thing. So everybody gave up on Christmas isn't a thing in the 19th century, and Christmas became a thing. I think it mostly had to do with merchants and commercial things, and they said, hey, we got to make this Christmas thing happen so that we can make lots of money. So wow, Christmas is a big topic. There's probably a giant 500-page book on it about the sort of evolution of Christmas in North America. I talked too long.
Nameless Traveler wants to know, can you make pemmican with fish?
Fish pemmican. They dried fish, but I don't think they did okay, so like the pemmican that was here, and imagine it's made with buffalo. The whole idea there is that the buffalo comes in with everything you need to make pemmican. It's got the meat, it's got the fat, and it's got the bag, all built into the buffalo, basically. The fish doesn't have any of that. I mean, the fish has the meat, so you're going to have dried meat, but there's no fat on a fish, at least that you're going to use in that way. And it doesn't really have its, own vessel that you can put it in. So could you make it? Yes, you're going to have to make it with some other kind of animal fat. But I'm not sure what the purpose is. If you can dry that fish and use it in long-term storage, there's no real reason to turn it into pemmican, except, of course, the nice part about pemmican is it's a lot more energy. I mean, all that suet, which we think of as like, oh, that's really bad for you. There's a lot of energy there, and a lot of, food energy is what I'm looking for there. So I'm not sure what to answer you. There's probably some traditions of fish-type pemmicans. I'm not familiar with them.
Dova Kitty wants to know, do you think you would ever do a series of homemade cosmetics or medicinal things?
Well, we've done a little bit of talking about herbal medicines when we went down to Conner Prairie, and so there's a Q&A and a standard cooking episode. It's not really cooking, but a Monday episode, let's call it, which has medicinal medicines. Yes, that's one of those great topics. There's a lot there to cover. There's some recipes that show up in the back of recipe books for medicines. Some of them are horrible, and if you did them, you'd probably die from it, even worse than eating 5-year-old pemmican. And there's some, let's say, cosmetics that show up in some of these cookbooks too, or other kinds of books also. So yeah, I can see us doing that, or possibly collaborating with somebody who already has a lot of that sort of information. So yes, good suggestion.
Daddy Do Jang asks, can I reenact someone during a reenactment?
Can I reenact someone during sort of like meta reenacting a reenactor? Is that what you mean? I don't know. What's your take on that, Kyle?
My guess is he's wanting to know of how he can reenact a character that's already a part of history. Like, say, somebody wants to reenact George Washington or something like that.
People do that all the time. So, in fact, I mean, many people sort of try to pick out a specific person in history because the research actually gets easier as you focus in on a particular person instead of sort of generically reenacting a type of person. That can be very difficult because you're kind of at loose ends. If you can find out enough about an individual, then that makes it easier. And even just mentally focusing on saying, no, I'm doing this one person and this is their story. So that makes it easier, if that helps to answer the question.
Go ahead.
They want to know if we're going to do anything else with Michael Twitty.
So people are asking about working with Michael Twitty, and Michael's new book is out. In fact, it was even in the top 10. Is this one of the best cookbooks for Goodreads? So his book has been getting a lot of sort of chatter out there. So I haven't had a chance to look at it, but it is available. And I have not spoken with Michael Twitty lately, but we would certainly would love to collaborate with him with some more episodes. So it was a great time.
Let's see. Somebody was asking about getting your family to join in. How do you go about doing stuff like that?
I found that, of course, kids that are young, 3 to 12, it generally isn't very difficult to get them excited about doing this. I mean, it's every boy's daydream to go out and actually do this kind of stuff, dress up and go in the woods and play with guns, or camping. I mean, toy guns, or whatever, right? And so getting boys excited about that, even getting girls excited about it. I mean, Ivy loves it. She's loves to do that. It can be a little more difficult sometimes to get, wives or older daughters or older kids, in general, teenagers, excited about doing that. Some, find that really exciting. Others, it's like, they don't. And of course, 10 years down the road, they're going to say, boy, why didn't I do that? But sometimes it just takes the right topic to get, let's say, your wife interested in that, or even a teenager. It takes just the right topic to get them interested, because they might not be interested in history in general, but they're interested in a particular topic. And then going back and kind of digging up the roots of that can get them excited about doing historical kinds of things. And cooking is a great way to get people excited about that. Sometimes, wives that weren't interested before, once you get them excited about the food part of it, well, then they're all, all for it and interested. And it might be a different kind of topic. It might be a trades kind of topic for, say, a teenager or someone else, or even a wife. They might be interested in fiber arts and be really interested in the weaving part or the spinning part. Or, there's so many really interesting trades and really interesting things to learn about in the 18th century. And so those are generally the kind of the gateway to get people interested in kind of history in general. Oh, I'm gonna try out the ginger beer again. Okay, let me give this a try here. Whoa, got a little more. Yeah, it's getting even more active. So it's there you go. It's got a lot of carbonation. If it wasn't in this kind of a bottle, it probably would have exploded by now. Let me show you a couple of little fancy things. Okay, so last whatever. Live, I showed you the really cool throwback mugs, logo mugs. I think we're almost all, you said like there's one brown one left and a couple of white ones left. So there are a couple of those guys left. I don't have one up here to show you. They're really cool mugs. We also have these guys, a bit more of a modern design. Obviously you can see it's a wonderful nutmeg color, and it's got our standard, newish logo on there. They're a lot less expensive than those cool hand-thrown ones. If you're interested in a Townsends mug, those are available. They're in the merch store on the website. Aaron might even put a link in the description or in the comments there. Oh, it's in the description. So there you go. I'm always working on new products. Here's one that's coming up. These guys are really cool. A corkscrew, really, really similar to some of the 18th century ones that you'll find in, say, the cutlery book. So these guys should be available on the website really, really soon, hopefully. We're still getting some of these in stock. Gosh, I tried to have some of these available for Christmas. Didn't quite have them available, but those are really neat. And a new product that I'm working on, I've got an original that I am going to have made. These guys, it's a little tiny bone spoon. Probably, I don't know. Here, let me get closer. Is it going to focus on it?
I think so.
It's hard to say. Anyway, it's a bone spoon, probably 19th or 18th century. It's either a salt spoon or it's a baby spoon. I'm not sure. My guess is it's a salt spoon. But I'll be working on getting some of these guys made. That'll be a fun little product.
I want to know if that other thing was brass.
Yeah, this guy's brass. Brass with the steel part. And even the screw, the way that's constructed, exactly like what's shown in an 18th century cutler's manual about how to make different products. This corkscrew was in there, and the construction is almost identical. So those are just really, really cool pieces. And there was something, and I'm also, again, while working on new products, thought I'd show you this. A lot of people see, I don't have one up here, a lot of people see the horn spoons that we use in the cooking episodes, and they're always like, oh, why are you using, everything was perfect, everything was historical, except for that plastic spoon you used. And the spoons aren't plastic, they're made out of cow horn. Well, this is a sheet of horn, and it's kind of roughly sanded and cut square, but this has been flattened out. It's a thin piece. And I call horn 18th century plastic for a reason, because this stuff is incredible for a natural product. It's strong, it's very flexible, it's waterproof. I mean, horn is just a great product that shows up in the 18th century. You almost never find it today, of course, but really fun stuff. And I'm working on developing a couple of new horn products. Not just, currently we have horn combs and horn spoons, working on a couple other horn things. That looks like some fun. So, let me try the bottle one more time. I got to release some more pressure. Yeah, there's no way. There's no way. Maybe in an hour or two, that'll be ready to try. Maybe the next live stream, I'll have that bottle ready. We'll let it age a little bit more. What do you think, Kyle? Do we have any more questions?
Let's see here. What's the oldest item you own?
The oldest item I own? Oh, man, I wish I had it with me. It's hard to tell. But some things are dated, or at least you can really narrow down. And boy, if I had time, I'd run down to my office and I'd get it. I've got a 17th century little brass. I guess you would probably call it a saucepan. But it's a little brass pan, and they're cast. They had a very famous man who cast them in England in the late 18th century or 17th century. Can't remember his name right off the top of my head, but many of them had a little saying, usually like a little biblical saying along the top of the handle, and like pity the poor, or some other little sayings that are on the top of there. This piece is so cool because it's been damaged and repaired in a really interesting ways. And that's another one of those, possibly, make it kind of products. That's the oldest one I can think of off the top of my head. I may have something, a little bit older, but some of these products are just or little items from history are so interesting. It's fun to have the originals, and then it's fun to either learn how to make them or have somebody else make them. So
I see a lot of people asking about the horn, and they want to know how they make horn panels like that.
You would take the horn that comes off the cow, or whatever animal. You slice the horn down the side, and then you have to heat that horn up. Many times, some people, it's like you can heat it up in boiling water, but you really need a little bit more heat than that. So you'd heat it up in like hot oil, or maybe boiling oil, right? And then it becomes much more flexible. Like if you want to bend wood for doing bent woodwork, you have to steam the boards. Well, you have to heat this horn up really hot, and then it starts to become much more pliable, and you put it into molds or put it in a vise. So this, you would force that open, you'd put it in a vise, you'd hold it into it, it would get cold, then it would stay in the shape you want. So that's how you form that. And the spoons are done the same way. You make them into blocks, and then you would squeeze it into a form that would force it into the spoon shape. So you can get the bowl out of it and everything else. And once that cools off, it holds its shape.
Hey, John, I think we should give a shout out to Tara and Natalie.
Tara and Natalie, yeah. So I don't know if you guys noticed it. Did I put it up? I can't remember if I put it in a Q&A or anyway. But Tara and Natalie did a couple of, they did an episode. They did a couple of recipes. So I think they did the boiled steak pudding and mushroom ketchup, and they did an excellent, very funny episode.
Their road was exploding.
Yeah, all the while the road outside the house is like a water main broke or something, and water was shooting all over. And they just kept on doing the episodes. That was really cool. So I really want to thank Natalie and Tara for that. I think Aaron put a link. Did you put a link in the chat? In the comment too. So yeah, check out that episode. They did they had a lot of fun doing that, and it was fun to watch their little episode. So thank you so much, Tara and Natalie.
Pepper Gipper wants to know if you wear your costumes to town.
If you want to see the episode, it's called what was it called? It was one of the like first 10 episodes. It's like, do you always wear that or something like that? So, and then you get to see me wearing the outfit around town. Generally, I only wear it when, of course, I don't have any problem wearing it around town, but generally it's when I'm going to an event, coming back from an event, or like today, I didn't have to change because we just got done shooting 2 cooking episodes. And so I just drove in and stayed in this clothing. And generally, once I'm wearing it, I forget that I'm wearing it, and so I'll go and do stuff, and people will look at me weird. Especially, you go to the post office, and it's like, oh, he's wearing weird clothes. Anyway, so yeah, sometimes I wear stuff around now. Yeah, it's time. It's time. See, I could just do this forever. Okay. Hey, thank you guys for all. This is good cheese, let me tell you. And I haven't died yet. Okay, here it is. It's 40 minutes later. I haven't died from eating that pemmican, even though it was green. I want to thank everyone for all your amazing support. When you watch our episodes, you comment on the episodes, you come and watch the. There's one more thing. I don't want to finish up until I get there. Oh gosh, I don't have the link. Oh, it's terrible. Anyway, a lot of people have issues with notifications, and they want to know about episodes coming up ahead of time or when they just came out. YouTube, like, it's hit and miss. You never know whether they tell you or not. So I've got a mailing list. I'll put a link. Oh gosh. Anyway, email mailing. What? Yeah, keep an eye out for the email mailing list so that you can hear, especially about the live streams. We've been kind of starting them up early, so you get some notification if YouTube notifies you about it. But if you want to know about it, say a day ahead of time or whatever, or if you want to know about episodes when they just come out, you can get on the mailing list and you'll just get a quick email. These are not gigantic emails. You can almost just read the subject line and you don't even have to open it. Hey, something's coming up or something just came out. And we'll put a link to the video there. So watch out for that. I'll make sure to put a link in some of these some of these episodes so that you can find that and get signed up for that if you're interested in getting notification whenever anything new is coming out. Anyway, I want to thank you guys so much for your amazing support when you watch it, when you comment on our things, when you did some of the super chat. That's so great, and it really helps us continue to do what we need to do. And I want to thank you for encouraging us to continue to do episodes and the kinds of episodes you're most interested in doing. Really, it's I go out. I'm all the time looking. It's like, is there anybody doing quite what we're doing? I don't know. I haven't seen that. Haven't seen that many places kind of doing what we're doing. So we have so much fun doing it, and we do it because you are interested in watching. So thank you so much for everything you do, and thanks for watching.